I'm Willa Brosnihan. I'm talking with Caleb Perry today. He's an 18-year-old student, a freshman at UMass Lowell. Caleb, thank you for speaking with me today. I'd like to ask you what it has been like to have to come home from school due to the coronavirus.
Uh, it's a weird feeling. It's kind of surreal. So I have, I had to move all of my stuff out, and we were midway through spring break when we got like the notifications from the school. So we went back, me and my father, we went back and we grabbed all of our stuff, and it was just kind of surreal having to move out of where I had been living for the past 6, 7, or 8 months.
Hmm. How is it affecting your education to have to move out of college all of a sudden?
Well, a lot of my classes have moved online,
Hmm.
which is difficult because I kind of like need a set schedule to keep myself on track and to allow myself to focus on what I need to do. Like oh, hang on, sorry about that.
No problem.
Um, yeah, I need like a set schedule for me to just do all my schoolwork on time. If I have a test, I need to know like the exact date and just being stuck at home all the time, kind of all the dates are getting blended together. I
Yeah.
actually found out that I had an exam due today that I thought was due in 3 days. So
Confusing
yeah.
time. So you said being stuck in the house all the time is causing problems for you in that sense. Is your family practicing social distancing? And like why
Yes.
or why not? What kind of measures are you guys taking?
Nobody really is stepping out of the house because, except for my mother, of course, because my mother has to take care of my grandparents who are, like they're at immediate risk of this disease. It's extremely serious, and my father's at relatively high risk as well. So my mother's going out and grocery shopping for them and for our family, and nobody else is going out just in case we might get it and just share it between the group of us.
Yeah. And so other than that, I would assume no one in your family is working. If no one's leaving the house, how is that affecting your family's ability to cover bills and stuff like that in the coming months?
Well, luckily, both of my parents have salary jobs, and that's not being affected by this. But I know a lot of other people who are unable to provide rent to buy groceries, and it's tough for them. They have to live off of like canned goods, discount stuff, week old food. It's just a bad situation for them.
Overall, when you're talking with people, especially our peers, about coronavirus, what kind of tenor do you pick up on? Are people fearful? Are people kind of ambivalent? Do you think a lot of people our age know what's going on and are worried about it?
From who I've talked to, really, most people aren't afraid. They're not, they're not glad that they're getting time off of school. They're mostly just mad that it has to happen and that we have to take time off. It's affecting their, their proms or their graduation, their school, of course. And a lot of us have kind of come to realize that our college is our home in a
Mhm.
sense. And we feel like we've been kind of kicked out of where we need to be at this time of our lives.
That makes a lot of sense. Based on that situation overall, how do you think young people are considering these changes and this global pandemic in a political context? Like, how do you think this crisis will shape the future political ideas of our generation?
Okay. I've seen a lot of people talk about how this is kind of a look into what the healthcare system is doing to us because we have a very poor system of keeping people in check. If somebody goes to a doctor, they're gonna, people are afraid of going into the doctors because they can't afford it. People are going to work because they can't afford not to.
Hmm.
Uh, because of food. medical stuff, and they can't afford not to risk getting sick, and or they can't afford to, you know, cover for their sickness. And a lot of people my age, especially, we're not really concerned about it because it's not something that really affects us that much.
Mhm.
But there's a lot of, kind of opposition between the younger generation and the older generation. I've heard a lot of people my age unironically call coronavirus the boomer remover.
Oh my god.
Yes.
Oh god.
Um, so there's that, and it's kind of like they're saying hopefully this will, you know, obviously I hope not because my grandparents are, and actually even my father is technically a baby boomer. Um, so I'm hoping that it doesn't remove them, of course. But it's causing a lot of people to think, maybe the younger people will get a more fair say in the political climate.
There's a desire for political change.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Is dredging it up, you'd say?
Yeah, definitely.
So, based on that kind of the upheaval that's going on, how would you prefer that the government was handling this kind of a situation? Obviously, that's a big question, so if you don't have a fully fledged answer, that's totally okay, but
So it's weird, but I've had this like planned out for a few years based on the Ebola thing that happened a few years ago. So what Liberia did was they shut off all of their borders, and they said, like only trade was allowed to go in and out, and everybody was stuck in their homes for, I think it was 30 days, because that's how long it took for symptoms of Ebola to show up. And if you or somebody you knew was showing symptoms, you could call a hotline, and medical professionals would come and take you to a hospital where you would be treated. You would be, held in a safe condition. That's what I think we should do. I think that we should shut off all national borders, but I also think we should shut off like maybe state and maybe even county borders, and just have people, remain in their homes for X amount of days. Wait until, and if somebody has starts showing symptoms, they should keep waiting. But after those like 14 days is what I believe the coronavirus symptoms day count is. After 14 days, those who don't show symptoms are able to, go out and about. Whereas those people who aren't, they either stay home or they go immediately to a hospital.
well, I know with coronavirus, I would have to provide a source, but I'm pretty sure among young people, it's common for symptoms to not present, but for you to be a carrier. Um, it's such a complicated issue of how you would handle something like this. I think that what you said about a like a general quarantine situation is a really interesting idea. Thank you for your input. Well, thank you so much for talking with me today, Caleb.
Yeah, anytime.
Yeah, awesome. Well, good luck with your social distancing
Thank you. You too.
too. Bye bye.